Chair Fox, thanks for having me in. Ranking Member McGovern, members of the committee, thanks for inviting me to testify today in support of H.R. 7008, the Stop Insider Trading Act. I also want to thank Speaker Johnson, Leader Scalise, Whip Emmer, and their teams for their commitment to getting this common sense bill to the floor. Also want to thank a handful of our colleagues who are at the front and center of this debate, including your colleague on this committee, Chip Roy, as well as Brian Fitzpatrick, Tim Burchett, Anna Paulina Luna, and others for their feedback and support throughout the process. Before the committee today is a Rules Committee print, which combines the Stop Insider Trading Act with another common sense measure the committee has advanced, the Voter ID Act. Together, these bills will clean up Congress and strengthen election integrity. I'll begin by discussing the second section first, which addresses lawmaker stock trading. This section ensures that lawmakers cannot use their position to profit off insider information they may garner while serving in Congress. Under the bill, members of Congress, their spouses, their dependent children are prohibited from purchasing securities issued by publicly traded companies. To sell a stock, members are required to provide advanced public disclosure at least 7 days in advance to the clerk of the House or the Secretary of the Senate. The penalties associated with violations are steep. Members will be assessed a fine equal to $2,000 or 10% of the value of the transaction, whichever is greater. In addition, violators must forfeit any realized gains from a profitable sale. The legislation, I believe, is critical to restoring public trust in this institution. Nearly 15 years ago, Congress passed the Stock Act, which required lawmakers to publicly disclose stock trades. However, the disclosure rules lack detail and can be filed a month after the transaction. This, coupled with increased attention to members' trades, in particular by social media accounts, has fueled public frustration. I believe it's time we just stop allowing members to buy new stock. Doing so removes the appearance of impropriety altogether. Americans should be confident that lawmakers are working for them, not for their stock portfolios. If someone wants to go trade stocks for a living, there's a place to do that. It's called Wall Street. If you're here in Washington, you should be working on behalf of the American people. The reforms in the Stop Insider Trading Act are common sense, and I think that's actually why they're so overwhelmingly popular. Now let me turn to the third section of the bill, the voter ID section. Madam Chair, you may have seen the big news over the weekend. The never-ending pasta bowl is back at Olive Garden. I used to work at Olive Garden, so this hit close to home. But to safeguard the integrity of their pasta program, Olive Garden, as you may have seen, implemented photo ID requirements. However, in jurisdictions across the country, from Illinois and California and Minnesota, an individual can go to the polls on election day and cast a ballot without providing confirmation of their identity. In other words, Madam Chair, we're protecting our breadsticks more than our ballots in jurisdictions across this country. Our Voter ID Act implements common sense election integrity measures to require voters to show photo ID when casting a ballot in federal elections. This is another common sense policy, and again, I think that's why it's so popular with American people. 24 states require photo ID to vote. This bill makes that standard and takes it nationwide. Today we have a real opportunity to clean up Washington and increase Americans' confidence in our election. I encourage all committee members to support this legislation. I look forward to your questions.